Here's the instructional video for the public health mobile clinic. We're going to start on the driver's side here. This is the SurePower cord hookup. Just open this up. It is a double locking mechanism, so you have to twist twice. The first for the actual plug, and the second is a screw on going around the outside of the plug. You have to screw on over these grooves here. Now moving on. Here is the actual generator location. Now you don't start the generator here. That's done on the inside of the vehicle, and I'll show you that later. But in case there's issues with the generator and it needs to be serviced or whatnot, it's located right here. Here is the black water emptying tank. You can open this by screwing this to the left. Now there's the disposal area. Now if you were to open this, water would start coming out of here and draining out. Directly to the right of that is the battery rollout tray. Now, warning, you do not jump here. You would want to jump the vehicle underneath the hood like any other vehicle. But again, if you're having battery issues and it needs to be serviced or whatnot, this is where you would do that. To open this, just push the blue part down and pull out and get a better look at the batteries. Alright, moving on. Above that is the freshwater fill-up area. Just unscrew this, insert your standard gardening hose into there, and start filling it up. You'd know when the tank is full, when water starts kicking back out. Moving on to the right of that, this is the gas fill-up storage area to the back of the vehicle. This is the wheelchair lift door, along with the backup camera right there. Here is the rear entry door to the clinic. There's the awning. Now here's the main clinic entry door, along with power sockets for external use. Alright, now we've made it all the way back up to the front of the clinic. Let's take a look inside. Now the first thing you'd want to do when operating the clinic is to make sure that the power switch is in the on position here. Since the battery switch is on, if you turn the ignition on, there should be power to this rear view camera. So this is how you would want to drive the clinic, with the ignition in and the battery switch in the on position. However, I am about to prep the clinic for rear clinic use, so that would be the power to everything else, essentially. So to do that, make sure the ignition is off. Also, make sure that the battery switch is still in the on position. And now we're going to look at the generator panel. Just to power the clinic, after the power switch is in the on position, start by holding down the prime key on the generator panel until the light turns on. And once it's on, hold down the start key until the generator has made the power up noise and the light here has turned solid. So now that the generator's on, the next step in powering the rear of the clinic would be to hold down the on button on the power inverter. So since the battery connect switch, the generator, and the power inverter are on, the clinic has power. To turn on the lights in the clinic, navigate to here. Boom. Now lights are on. So here is the location of the awning controls. To take the awning out, just hold down the out button until the awning is completely out of the clinic and there's no more room for the awning to go out. To bring the awning back in, just hold down the in until the awning is completely retracted back into the vehicle and is flush with the vehicle. Also to the right of that, there are LED lights on the awning. This controls the strip of LED lights along the edge of the awning. Just turn them on for them to be on and off for it to be off. To power on the sink, after the generator and the power inverter are on, make sure that the water pump switch is on. Now I should be able to pump water. Also keep in mind, if you're not using the clinic, make sure that's off. To power the overhead AC unit, navigate to this panel here, adjacent to the sink. Tap the on button, tap it again to change the mode, and now you just wait until it kicks on. There you go. And now to turn it off, you have to tap this once again to switch the setting. Tap it again. Now it's on the heat strip setting. Tap it once more for it to power off. Now it might take a second for it to actually power off. Still off. Oh, there we go. Now it should power off. There we go. Since the battery switch is on, the generator is on, and the inverter is on, you can now operate the floor heater panel. So rotate clockwise to power on. Once you hear a click, that's how you know there's some power. To increase the intensity, continue rotating clockwise. And to power off completely, just keep turning left until you no longer can. When you're done using the rear of the clinic, to power off, first turn off the power inverter. Then tap the stop key on the generator panel. So turn off the light. Okay, now this next step changes depending on if you are going to travel with the vehicle to a different destination before parking it and leaving it, or if you're just already done with the vehicle and you'll not be traveling after using. If you are traveling back with the vehicle, leave the battery power switch in the on position like this. However, if you're done with the vehicle and not traveling back, turn it to the off position or else your battery can die. If you were traveling back and you leave it on the off position, you should still be able to drive. However, you will not have access to the backup camera. To operate the wheelchair lift, first make sure that the battery switch is in the on position. Next, make sure that the ignition is on. Third, make sure that the parking brake is engaged. And lastly, make sure that the wheelchair lift key is in the on position. As you can see, the lights are on at the top of the lift. That means that there's power going to the lift. If you followed the previous steps correctly and you do not see lights on up here, try looking down to the lift power switch here, Most of the time it's left in the on position, but someone could have turned it off and it would have looked like that with no power. But we typically just leave it in the on position. And to operate, first you unfold the vehicle by holding down the unfold key on the remote. And then hold down the down key until the lift has reached the ground and this yellow part flaps out to be parallel with the rest of the lift. Alright, so this is where you'd load onto the lift, and let's say you load it on now, so it's time to bring the lift back in. So what you'd actually do is the opposite of the two steps you just did. So start by holding up the up switch, and now the person using the lift can access the vehicle. And once they've accessed the vehicle, now you fold the lift. Keep going until it stops moving and you hear a little squeak noise. You can put this back here, and that's how you use the lift.